Granny Sunbird needed a new fuel filter, I think. A little bit of shit in there. Hey, welcome back to Sunbird Garage. That's not a Sunbird. What are we working on today? My wife likes to use my car as a shelf. Yeah. Anyway, fuel pump. This car's been giving me some issues with the fuel pump for a few years, and usually you just crawl under the tank and you whack it a few times and it wakes up and it works. But it's been getting more and more sporadic. And the fuel gauge, as we know, is when you fill the car up, it's at 3/4 of a tank of gas, which obviously isn't correct. So we're going to pull this tank out of this car and swap in another one. I have another tank that I'll show you here in a minute on the formula. Had it cleaned and lined and painted, and I've got a new sending unit, a new fuel pump, and all that fun stuff. So we're just gonna do a hot swap. We're gonna drop this tank out of here. Actually, I gotta drain it out first because it's pretty full, I think. Drain it out, drop it down, and then swap in a new tank. Good times. Okay, well, we've accumulated all of our parts that we'll need for this tank swap. You can buy brand new fuel tanks for Monzas now. Sunbirds, Starfires, Skyhawks, from Tanks Inc. Put a little picture of their website or whatever here in the corner. They're not inexpensive. When they first came out, they were $400 a piece, and by the time you added tax and shipping, it's about $450. They're a little bit more expensive now. I think they're $410 now. So yeah, you'll probably, if you bought a new tank, if you didn't have a choice and you had to buy a new tank, you're probably looking at $475 for a new tank. I bought 2 new tanks when we did the program. One of them's in the formula over there, and then I bought a spare one just in case. But the original tank out of the formula, I had professionally cleaned out and lined, and then I painted it. So we're gonna use that tank for this project. I'm just gonna assemble it so I can drop the old tank out, put this one in, and I'm off and running, right? So I bought a couple other things to do this project. You don't have to do what I'm gonna do here, right? But it certainly makes the job a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier. So a guy named Clyde Biagi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, makes a tank installation kit. And with his kit, he's got these rubber straps. These ones go against the body on the top side of the tank, and then these ones go on the straps that hold the tank up. So you got replacement rubber strips. He sends you the hoses. This is for a stock application. So you got a little 3/8 hose, and you got a 1/4-inch vent hose. Sends you the clamps. He sends you a new filler neck hose, a new O-ring for the top of the tank, new steel ring, and he sends you stainless steel hardware for the straps. I'm probably going to reuse my bolts. I think my bolts are probably fine, so I'm going to reuse my bolts, and so I probably won't use that stuff. Did I need to buy all this? Nah, probably not, but it's a nice little kit to have. And then I haven't looked at my fuel sender yet that's in the car, but I'm guessing it might need some work. So I figured while I was in here, I would have my buddy Jay Hovick send me a refurbished sending unit. So this was an original, because you can't buy a new stock sending unit for a Monza, Sunbird, Starfire, Skyhawk anymore. So you gotta hope that your sending unit is in good shape. If it's not, what do? Jay will actually recondition your sending unit. So assuming it's not completely rotted off at the lines and whatnot. I think actually he can replace lines if they are rotted out. So reach out to him, ask him if you got one that's in really bad shape. But he had some spares, and he refurbished this one and sent it over to me. And he actually pre-installed the fuel pump and the sock. So all I gotta do is drop this in my tank over there, and I'm ready to go. So, but he did a phenomenal job. refurbishing this. He even sends it with the little O-ring there. So I've got 2 O-rings now. Only need 1. And look at that. He sent me some Rock Auto magnets to add to my collection out here. So again, you don't have to buy all this stuff, but it's helpful to have if you need it. So just want to give you some ideas as to where you can get this stuff if you end up needing it. All right, let's put this thing together. Well, let's test old Jay's work here and see if he actually did what he was supposed to do. So GM sending units are generally 0 ohms to 90 ohms or 95 ohms when the rheostat here is all the way up full. So if we put this on the lead over here, it's basically 0, and as we go up, so will the resistance till it gets to about 90, 95. So there you go. And that's when you get a full tank. So hopefully this will solve our issue in the silver car, because the fuel gauge, when it's full, it says it's 3/4 of a tank full, and that's not right. So hopefully this fixes it. So there's our stock option. Now, let's say you don't have a sending unit, or you're just completely obliterated, and you can't get it to J or whatever. Or if you got, let's say you've got fuel injection, you got an EFI car, or fuel injection car, you're putting a Holly Sniper or something like that, and you're gonna have fuel injection. Well, you need a return line. That doesn't have a return line, just has, out and event. So there's a couple other options you can go with. This is the first option that we came up with. I think this is out of an S10. And it's a Spectra FG03A. Ignore what I'm going to tell you here. You don't need that number because you're not going to buy this one. If you look at this one, it's got, the supply, it's got a return, and it's got a vent, and it's got this great big old doodad here, which I don't know what that's for. You'd obviously have to cap that, but you can't thread to this unless you I don't know, do something weird. So this sending unit, if you can find it, seems like it's out of stock everywhere, so maybe it's discontinued. But if you can find it, it's about $60, $70. I did find it on O'Reilly for $106, $107, which is crazy. But then you got to go buy all these different fittings. So you got to buy, this adapter here that threads onto the threaded connections there, and then you need a barb adapter. So you probably have $30, $40 in adapters there. So this setup you're going to have, I don't know, $125, $150 in. So we kept looking. Here comes with all that stuff too. And there's another option. It's the FG03B, and it's basically the same, other than look at the ends. There's no threaded ends. So you've got your supply, you've got your vent, you've got your return, you got that big old stupid thing there. And these you can pick up for about $60, $70, depending on where you find it. I thought I got a real deal. There's a guy selling these on eBay for 15 bucks a piece, and I should have said, hey, something's fishy here. So I ordered it. It works. I tested the rheostat. It worked, but it's missing a cover. I think it's supposed to be a cover there. And this one's a little bit different, but it's kind of inside there. So, but anyway, so that's your other option. These mount vertically, so they got to use, instead of having it horizontal in the tank, this will go into the tank like that, and it's laid in there horizontal. Whereas these are going to tone the tank. The fuel pump will stand vertically, but then it's got to use this kind of sock that basically clips into the bottom and works that way. So there's another option for you. So you're not stuck. There's options out there. Just wanted to go over those. So let's get back to work. So if you do use that Spectra FG03A or B, you will have to make some modifications to it. And our buddy Chris made this nice little infographic here. Tells you what you have to change. You got to basically, you have to pick out your fuel pump, because you got to make sure you use the right fuel pump for your application. So if you got a fuel injection car, you're going to need something, higher pressure than what a stock Monza tank would do, or not stock Monza pump would do. Then you got to make a little bit of a modification on the top of your tank, and then obviously you got to cap off that giant purge port doodad on there. connect your lines, and then lastly, you need to modify the wiring on this thing because it's not really, you know, wired the same as a Monza fuel pump would be. So you got to trim those wires and then resplice them into your wiring harness. So hopefully that helps you out. And yeah, so let's get this thing back together. So when I started messing with this thing this spring, I did pull out the fuel filter, and here's a little picture of it over here. It was pretty dirty. It wasn't horrible dirty, but it was dirty. And so I put a new filter in, but took it for a ride, and it just kind of stumbled and fell on its face every time you left the stoplight. So I don't know if it's got not pumping enough fuel or what's going on here. So we're gonna disconnect this hose and run a hose over here to this gas can here and try to pump out as much gas as we can. I think that tank's about half to 3/4 full, and it's 18.5 gallons in a full tank, so a lot of gas. And let's pull this thing off. Yeah, so key is on and nothing coming out. So I don't know what's going on with that fuel pump, but it is not being cooperative. So what the hell? And my battery's dead. So I think we're gonna run up to the store. I think that battery's, I don't know that I've ever changed the battery in this car, and I've had this car for 10 years. So that battery, I'm not sure how old it is, but we're gonna throw the charger on there for a while. But I think I'm gonna go buy a new battery and run to Harbor Freight and get one of those siphon doodads to pump this gas out of here. So yeah, temporary intermission. Yeah, I should probably unhook my filler neck first. Yeah, these are coming out pretty easy. So yeah, let's undo that filler neck. Filler neck's in there, so I guess we'll take this guy off. Yeah. 1 second, please. I guess they didn't want this to leak. Huh, Dave? Dave's the guy I bought the car from. 10 years ago, I became friends with him on Facebook. So he had this tank cleaned out and lined. I forget when. I've had the car for 10 years. So obviously before that. So it should hopefully be pretty clean inside, but that pump is has been giving us issues. So all right, let's see if we can get this thing down. All right, I think we're ready. Filler neck's disconnected. There's a decent amount of fuel in this thing. I think it's either half or 3/4 full, so it's gonna be pretty heavy. So we put a jack under here, a piece of plywood, hold it up, take these straps down, and see if we can't cover ourselves with fuel. There's one. Get out of there. Okay, hold on. Down she comes. Good thing we got a jack in there. Now I will lose these bolts, so I'll put them up here. And like I said, that kit that I got from Clyde, he does give you replacement hardware for this, but these are kind of special bolts. They're got a big fat. I'll throw a picture over here of what they look like when I refinish the Formula's bolts. But they've got kind of like a big, not carriage bolt type head, but well, you'll see. I'm rambling about a stupid bolt, but I'm gonna put my nuts up here so I don't lose them. And then let's slowly drop this thing down. We gotta disconnect the wires and the lines and blah 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 blah. Yay, it's out. There's a mouse living in there apparently. But I wonder why my ground wasn't really working all that good. Look how rusty and corroded that is. And I looked in the end of the wiring harness, and it's kind of rusty too. So we'll have to get some contact cleaner and clean that up. This we don't have to worry about because we got a new sender. So, oh, Bill said stuff a rag in the end of your thing so you don't dump fuel everywhere. Whoops. Yeah, I don't listen very well. So, but yeah, this thing's fairly full. It's probably half full. So that was the hard part, I think. We'll get the new tank over here and plumb it in. Yeah, so what does it look like under here? This car was Z-barded, undercoated when it was new. I think I've got the receipt. It's got like 19 miles on it or something crazy like that. And they just went hog wild on it. I mean, everything's just covered with undercoating, except for where the gas tank was, because you couldn't spray there. But yeah, very solid under this car, except for that spot over there. Don't look at that. But look at that. You know what that is? You know what that is? Yeah, factory posi. So, all right, let's put this tank together. So here we are with the Clyde's kit that we're using here. Again, I didn't need to buy this, but I think Granny Sunbird here is worth it. So we'll stick these. It's got some nice 3M on here to double sticky tape just to hold it on there so you can get it on. So we'll put those on there. These go on those straps down there. And I guess I'll put my lines on. And oh, I did put some dielectric grease on my contacts there just so I don't have that corrosion problem that these had. Even the brass terminals were pretty oxidized. So with that ground tab, it was really crusty. So yeah, all right. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I should probably disconnect this here. It'll probably be a whole lot easier to get this tank in. These are 9/32. Can't be quarter, can't be 5/16. It's gotta be some goofy ass size. But yeah, that's probably make it a lot easier. Yeah, it's just too dirty. We gotta clean them up. Then we'll be ready. Then we'll be ready. I gotta turn the light on. Now she's nice and clean and black again. It was a little rusty on the side that wasn't slathered with undercoating. So we hit it with some paint. But yeah, that'll be a lot easier to, I think, install this thing once the tank's up or close to being up. Will I be right? Will I be wrong? I don't know. Let's put these straps on this thing. All right, I think we're ready to try to get this thing in there. Strappies are on there. Strappies are on the strappies. Yeah, I cleaned up that thing as best I could. Yeah, I guess we're gonna slap it in there. I was gonna try to set up my camera so you can watch me struggle, but I couldn't figure out how to. My tripod's too tall, so I'm just yammering. Hopefully the next video will be tanking the car. Hey, look at that, it's in. Well, it's not in all the way. I gotta tighten the bolts and connect the lines, but yeah, it didn't take too much effort to get that in there. I'm thinking while it's still loose, I'll put that filler neck in. So I'm afraid that's gonna be a nightmare if I strap this thing in fully. So let's see if we can't get that in the hose at least. Leave it loose against the body. And then we'll connect the other hoses and cinch it up. We should be basically done. Bingo, it's in, it's loose. I don't have it secured yet. It fought me for about half a second. I slipped it into the hose. Uh-oh, I gotta make sure I can get that clamp up here. I can, there we go. So I'm not gonna tighten this yet until I get the hoses and the straps up there, but yeah, it went in there pretty easy. All right. Uh-oh, I can't see nothing. Oh, there we go. All right, if you can see that, there you go. Hoses are connected, feed on the left, and then vent on the right. It's nice that Clyde gives you those little springy clamps. They're pretty easy to snap into place there, so. All right, let's cinch this sucker up. Can't get out of here. Well, she's got a brand new, well, new to her, fuel tank. Pump is plumbed, what lines are on, electrical connections are on. Oh, God, I can't get up. I got this thing in there, the fuel filler neck that you can't see in there. Got my screws back in. Now we're gonna try to figure out how to get all the gas out of that old tank into here. And then we'll see if it works. Yeah, it's noon. Weatherman said it wasn't gonna rain till 5. I want that job, man. Wouldn't that be the greatest job? If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, well, computer model is wrong. And you don't get any trouble for it. Anyway. Now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get all the gas out of that tank, into that can, and then into this car. And that funnel just keeps falling out, so I'm gonna make a huge mess if I do it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just crying about the rain. I haven't turned the car on yet since we put it in. You can see it's a little over full. So we'll turn the car ignition on, see if the fuel gauge does something different, and then we'll see if it's pumping fuel here. Fingers crossed. Oh, it is. I can hear it pumping fuel. So I'm wondering, either that pump was bad or just that ground that was on the tank was really what was causing us all these issues. Because that thing was, I showed you a million times, but it's really crusty. So might have just been a bad ground. Okay. Attempt number 1, see if the battery's charged enough. Oh, no, battery's not charged enough. I think I do need to get a new battery. But it's definitely pumping fuel. So, see? Pumping fuel. She lives! Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw a battery in it though. Because it took forever to charge up. Well, about an hour, I guess. But yeah, it started right up. I really think the whole issue is that damn ground. So, all right, we'll let this thing run for a minute, and then we'll pull that tank apart. Take a look at what's inside there. Well, we're out on our maiden voyage here since we changed that fuel tank. She feels like she's got a little bit more power, so I just wonder if it was light on fuel the whole time. So, but it seems to be running just fine. I do want to change that battery. I'll run and get one later today, maybe. But this car is filthy. Needs a bath. But we'll go home and take apart that tank and we'll see what we discover. Okay, one more test. We're gonna fill it up at the gas station here and see if we get 3/4 of a tank of gas still. Fingers crossed it just goes to full. So we'll see. Well, it's a little over full, but it's not 3/4 full like it used to be. So maybe we solved that problem too. Windows clean. Drive her home. Okay, surgery time. Will we use this video? Who knows? Probably not. Probably be super boring. Well, we'll rat-a-tat-tat this thing out of here. Oh, I need my screwdriver. My chisel. Or whatever. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. What will it look like? Drum roll. Oh, it is a little corroded. Not too bad though. Come on. Water stuck on it. Oh yeah, look at the rheostat. Oh, there's no sock on it at all. Huh, check that out. We don't need no stinking sock. Huh, well that's not good. So yeah, I think it's probably really good that we did this job. Not only is it corroded and that ground is bad, there's no sock on it. And look at this hose. This is the fuel hose. So, wow, that is bad. I don't know how it was flowing any fuel. So that was definitely an issue. Look at that. It just melted that hose. So, oof, good times. All right, I don't know if the sock is in here somewhere. We'll look around. It is kind of dirty in there. But yeah, good times. I guess it's good that we did this job. So I guess that's a wrap. Wow, that pump was, I didn't expect it to be that bad. No sock. I'll look in there and see if there's a sock in there or not. If there is, I'll put a picture over here. I'm guessing there's a sock in there. Maybe it just fell off. But that fuel hose on that pump to line, that thing was not flowing fuel very well. So that was probably another part of the issue. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks to the guys that helped me with this. You know, our buddy Jim, who actually made the tanks, which I didn't use, but I showed it in a video. Jay Hovick at Jay's Shack, who refurbished that sending unit for me. And then Clyde Biagi, who made that fuel tank installation kit. Do you need all that stuff? Yeah, probably not. But it did help the project. So thanks to those guys. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I think maybe, I don't know what we're doing next. Transmission? Work on the green car? Oh. Anyway, bye. Okay, I lied. there was a sock. And it's in the bottom of the tank. Yeah, this tank was supposedly cleaned and lined, but it doesn't look real healthy in there. It's not horrible, but yeah, we'll put it on the shelf and it'll go to another car someday in the future.